combining soybeans with my John Deere 45 self-propelled combine. I've had this combine about 3 years now, and it's doing a fine job. Never really had any serious problems with it, knock on wood. Hopefully I can finish up this field here without that. Started the soybean harvest yesterday, just took in my first load. Came out with about 11.6 moisture reading, which is below what you need. And the price is not good, about $9.60 a bushel, but is what it is. The combine worked real well yesterday, but it was a hot day here yesterday, about 87 degrees. The cab on this combine is not air conditioned, so you prefer to have the windows open, but it was so dusty. We've had a drought here that going one way, I had to shut all the windows and kind of suck it up. I do have a fan in there, which helps. And then I could open the windows on the way back. That was better, but not a pleasant day. I combined for about 2 or 3 hours yesterday and got a fair amount of this field done. I should finish up today. Little bit about this combine. I had decided because of the dust, I wanted to quit eating dust with my pull type John Deere 42. So I bought this combine, real cream puff. The guy had it for years. He had other combines, but for sentimental reasons, I think he kept this one up and would trot it out every year and run it a little bit. So it had been used right up to the time that I bought it. It's got some nice features on it. I'll tell you one thing that worked out well yesterday was this little gauge right here. I'll show it to you. I can get in there. Maybe you can see it. But it allows you to kind of gauge where your header is. I painted the tip here a little bit orange. Again, not a real good picture. But and with all that dust yesterday, it was really it was good that I did that, because I really couldn't tell where the head was. It's got a little spring action, but it's not a flex head. So the ground that I have to watch out for rocks. So anyway, I appreciate that little gauge. The header is a fixed head. You take it off right at the where the cylinder is. I do have a feeder house head on it for a quick attach head. I've not been able to find a quick attach head that works with this particular combine, but I'm still going to work on that. But I like this head. I can raise the reel up and down through this hydraulic cylinder here in the center. And these pulleys. Looks odd, but it does work well. And it's got a nice Hume type reel on it. And these guides are helpful in that if you can't, you can kind of gauge where you are here from the bottom to the tip to the ground. It's about equal with with where the cutter bar is. I think that's helpful. It also helps you kind of keep the thing straight. So anyway, this is a picture of it. Greasing this thing and oiling it is a real chore. So I think I spend almost as much time doing that as I do running the thing. But most of the grease fittings are of the 50 to 250 hour variety, and I'll not put that many hours on this combine in 5 years. So I still like to grease them up just to make sure there's stuff in there. I could show you a few other things about the combine, and I'm going to show you hopefully a little bit of it running here later if we can see anything from the cab. It does have a chopper, which is nice, especially nice for soybeans. And it's a relatively new style chopper where you can take it off pretty easily. 2 people can lift this. I had 4400s and 6620s before this, and it took it took 4 guys to handle that thing. But this one, 2 men can handle it pretty easily. Engine's up on top, and it's a little wobbly when you're up there, but it's fine. Everything's pretty easy to get to other than the carburetor, which you have to go through the grain tank to get to it. Inside here, I've done a little work with it. I put some rubber padding and stuff on the floor. That's helpful. And I did put a headliner in. Not the greatest of jobs, but it seems to help with the noise. This is the fan. You got a little inside light here. The various controls are pretty easy. This is the reel lift. Bring it up and down. These are the controls for the, I'm trying to get this thing focused here. This one is the control for the header to raise it up and down. This is the variable speed. This is the auger. This is your front part of the concave to adjust it. Your gear shift mechanisms over here. Does have an hour meter and cylinders, engine speed, water temperature, and oil pressure gauge, little gauge light there. These are your choke and idle controls, and the light control is back here for the outside lights. And look at this, I got a little bottle holder here. I really try to keep it in a cooler though. So over here you have your reel. This one right here is the reel, and this one is the cylinder to engage those 2 things. So a pretty simple mechanism. More to follow here with a little bit of a run of this thing, and we'll go from there. I haul my grain with 3 different hopper wagons. All of them I've had to fix up. I bought them as kind of cheapos and repaired them over the years, put new tires on them. That cost you a bit of money, and painted them to some degree. This one probably ought to paint the tongue to make it match up with the tires, at least look prettier. This is another one, a J&M, and McCurdy pulls very straight. This one, you have to keep this tongue tightened quite a bit to keep that from wobbling around. I think I have a little beans in this one. Let's see what they look like. Oh, well, I don't have any in here to speak of. At least none I want to show you. It was the end of the auger and a lot of trash came out. I'll show you some of that later. And this is the main wagon I have. It's got a nice John Deere running gear on it, a little bit bigger bed, and I like this running gear because it has this adjustable tongue on it, which is very helpful when you're hooking these things up. Anyway, these are what I use to haul all my grain with: wheat, soybeans, and then in corn I'll pull this behind my picker sheller. So the wagons have to be relatively small to be able to handle that, and so all of them work well in that regard. we finished now with the soybean field. Went off without a hitch. So on to corn, but might be a week or two before we get around to that. Show you how the beans turned out. Not real happy with them, but it was a bad year. Came out pretty clean out of the combine, so okay with that. That part of it. They're kind of small, and moisture is fine. Gonna take them into the barn now. Pulling them in with my Oliver Super 77, and hope you enjoy these videos, this whole video that I put together about harvesting the soybeans, and God bless you.